right, welcome to our interview segment on AM Sports Committee from NTA Sports 24. And of course, today we're discussing one of the, should I say inventions in Nigeria when it comes to sports. And of course, this one is fast gaining popularity and prominence in the country. And of course, just like it started, not, years ago, and gradually it's spreading around the country, and everyone is embracing it, and that is huge. And that is why we're putting them on the spotlight today. We're talking about K2U Puzzles. And I have in the studio with me no other person than the co-founder of K2U Puzzles, Martins Oloye. Many thanks for joining us on the show today, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right, quite interesting, when anyone comes, across it, the first question is going to be, what's K2U Puzzles? What's it all about?
So K2U Puzzles is an educational tool, fun, loving educational tool. So focus is on learning, but you need to make sure that while you're learning, you have to have fun. So the dynamics is that we've changed what education is about. So it is sports and education. It's obvious now that education is not about the four walls of the classroom anymore. You need sports, you need competition to give them that little dynamics of push, so they want to learn. So K2U Puzzles is the African-focused, African folklore jigsaw puzzles, working to teach the children and let them understand more and become better citizens.
All right, before I say you should go to details of how it's been done, I would like to ask you this. By the time you were coming up with this idea, what struck you? What inspired you to come up with the innovation?
The best way to put it is my co-founder, my wife, got up because we have had some amazing experiences with people, and we noticed that we need to do something about the national IQ. So sitting down, and when she came up with the idea and said, something needs to be done, something extra, because of personal experiences, our colleagues, our friends, and like on the average, we can't just fold our hands. So when she came up with it, it was a big problem, kind of gap that needs to be a popular game to be available. So when the inspiration came, it was something I easily, latched onto and like, okay, how do we go about it? There are so many benefits of tools to improve cognitive evaluation, cognitive resonance, all the benefits of jigsaw puzzles, about 30 to 40, a lot of them. And we needed to merge it in a way that will make us retain our values. So that was how the inspiration came about, to solve that gap, which was obvious, and look for something that we can resonate with, that's both children and adults. Remember, kindergarten to university, they can just merge and be able to use.
Oh, quite interesting. K stands for kindergarten,
yes.
Then 2 for the two, and the U for university.
Yes.
Quite interesting. So tell us about the game itself. What does it entail? What do you bring together? How do they play it? Is it that, the puzzle is going to be like a diagram of a particular thing, they have to put it together? Let's know the, nitty-gritty.
So the regular jigsaw puzzle is when you have different pieces put together to form a big picture.
Yes.
In this instance, we have focused on African folklore. I believe you are from the southwestern parts, so we have stories from all over Africa, Ghana, everywhere. We have presence in some of those countries.
Okay.
So we've fused those pictures together and made those stories into puzzles. Oh. I'll use one popular one, for instance, since you're from that side. We have Ajaduro, Romile, Ru, Fere, Kufe. We have from the north stories like the Great Bayajida story, Muhammad Rufa, Amina of Zaria, all over the country and continent. So you put these tiny little pictures together to form one whole picture. For us now, remember we said we wanted something that will help logic,
yes,
creative thinking,
yes,
problem solving, and a lot of other features. We've now used those stories and we added something that has not been done anywhere in the world. the story behind the picture. So at the back of the story, you can flip it and read the story, and you have moral of the stories also. So the timing that you use in playing with it, the piecing together is a regular game that people know. But for us now, it is African identity, African folklore, African stories, all over, put together in the form of jigsaw puzzles. So the pieces together to form the whole.
Now, when you want to play, do you have so many options that you don't get to know the story that you get to pick?
So the beautiful thing that we've also tried to do is we looked at the historical part of it. We actually need to start working on history. Now, we know how the federal government is trying to bring back history, but we need to reintegrate history into, to make the children love it once again. So we have over 200 stories. We have the Ananse series from Ghana. Anyone from Ghana will know the story of Ananse. We have this beautiful woman. I know the Shona stories from Zimbabwe. There's one amazing summon figure like Amina of Zaria from Zimbabwe. I can't remember because it's over 200 that we've put together. So you are spoiled with choices. That okay, if you need to walk through the story of Africa from top of the Nile down to Zambezi and everywhere, you can pick anyone that you want. So. And we have various ones. There's the one of 64 piece, 100 piece, and more. So it gets interesting. There's a joke someone threw at me, and I caught it. He said, "You've given my children something to engage them from week 1 to week 52."
Wow.
I'm like, "How do you mean?" So yeah, you can just buy the puzzles and give them each week. One wonderful thing is each time you play with the jigsaw puzzle, when you finish, you put it back together. If you want to do it again, it's a different ball game.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's the way it works, because it's like reverse engineering. It's for memory, it's for critical thinking, like I said. I mentioned to someone in a meeting like this that you would like to know that jigsaw puzzles, when you're playing with it, apart from the research from, I think, University of Michigan, there's a lot of research online, you can check that. When you play with this puzzle for 25 minutes, when you check the IQ of that person, it would have improved by 4 points. So, I mentioned national IQ. So that is something we're looking at. So you now have enough to go from one end of the spectrum to the other, enough to play all through as many as long as you can. So you are spoiled with choices. For choices, just choose and you have it.
That's really interesting, very, very interesting. So with what I could deduce from what you said, it's very much because I've always felt maybe you have to take charge, take custody of the game. I don't know that somebody can have it, that there's a version that can be with them, they can play it anytime they want to play. So there's a pack that you can buy and it can be with you at home, and you can give your kids to play. Of
course. So you put it there for them to at least reduce screen time. Okay. All the things you don't want, you can use that to give them some sort of solution. It's good for family bonding. It's good for fun time. It also helps children they're trying to focus. I don't want to use the word, okay, let me not use that word. People that have ADHD. I don't want to use professional words, but it's a sports session. So if you need children to focus, to concentrate, to be able to spend time and finish, it will release dopamine, they'll be fine about it, but the children will now become solution providers. They will just think, I need to finish this. If it's not the piece, I just need to finish it. So you have it with you. They can do it over and over and over again. It's always a new experience.
All right. In playing this, what makes somebody, to be on top of the game like a champion? Is it constant practice, or, your knowledge of all these folklores, or what helps you to, be a very good player of K2U Puzzles? Okay.
I'll pick it from the folklore parts. Remember, we want the children and everyone to start remembering those stories again. Like the Go. There's a story of that also in part of our stories. So the focus first is, enjoying it. Then the part of being good about it is the brain works like, the way you train the brain, it becomes better. When you're playing with the jigsaw puzzle, it's like artificial intelligence. Each time you do it, it's as if your brain is hot-wired. Every time you play, you get better. So from the beginning, from the onset, you may be difficult, but over time, you develop your own strategy. One thing I would like you to know, which is very, very interesting to us while we've been moving around different schools across the country is that from the feedback we've been given, when the children start, it may be difficult. So we tell them, do not. So they say, you told us and we didn't. You do the first one, maybe it took you 25 minutes. You get better, but each time the difficulty level becomes reduced. Just imagine one, life like, okay, this is egg. If you break the egg from outside, life ends. But if the egg breaks from the inside, life begins. So the children will find their own way. There are different strategies, there are different ways to do it. Some can do the flanking method, some use the block form. There's different strategies. But the important thing is the child or the person playing is left to develop by themselves. There's no rule, there's no hard fast rule. You just do it and you get better at it. It's difficult, I will lie, but we need it to have, critical thinking improved all over.
All right, tell us, for how many years have you been doing this now? And how has it been, especially in terms of the challenges?
So it's roughly, let's say, I think last year, we started last year, but it's fast-paced. We've seen, we are doing faster than we projected.
Yeah.
We also have seen a lot of challenges, which is we need to get it across everyone. The question we get everywhere, north, south, east, and west from the country, and in some places, some parts of Africa, is where have you been all this while? You have a tool that will take children off the screens. You have a tool that will improve memory. You have a tool that will allow children to use both sides of the brain. Anyone doing it, and also the right side of the brain, which is for critical creativity, and the left side of the brain, which is for logic. So because you are using your fingers to do it, and you're looking visual, spatial, you are engaging both sides of the brain at the same time, amongst other things. So the challenge we're having is the request is much. The grounds to cover is a lot, is vast. Nigeria is big, not talk of Africa and diaspora, because we are reaching out to all of those people. So that's the challenge, and people are beginning to embrace it, because most people don't even know the benefits of Jigsaw puzzles. If I ask you, there are some games that you know, and when I tell you that Jigsaw puzzle embodies most of the games that people know and more, with all the benefits.
All right, quite interesting. I want to believe, you've had so many good things too that you've experienced, and one of it is that the, development being fast-paced, just like you said. What are other things that you will say, have really impressed you since you came up with this innovation?
The reception by private and government policymakers has been amazing. So it's like we need the children, because we're focusing on children for starters. We need the children to get better. We've seen researches all over the world, even in Nigeria, proven researches that shows that when you use jigsaw puzzles, the children get better in numeracy, literacy, amongst other things. Remember, we are the only one with the flip side of the picture. You have stories to read, because when you speak, it gives you confidence. There's moral of the stories for every story that I also read. When you read our stories, no matter how brief it is, we tell you, don't be wicked, respect elders, be kind to people and everything, amongst other things. So the reception has been really, really great, public, private, and it's something that we're also we're expanding staff and everyone to get used to it.
And it's quite interesting, we got the news that, recently you went Benue State. Tell us, a little bit about that.
Well, that brings a smile to me. Is the reality that we have. So while moving around, Kaduna, Benue, Ogun State, a lot of places, we discovered that there are still people that need the puzzles and they can't get it. So we've been able to rally around among ourselves, and we've gone to different places. So most recently, we went to Makurdi. We're in Makurdi. The team was in Makurdi, and we had a really nice time with children, IDP, and we had a lot of fun with them.
All right, that has been quite interesting, and of course we do have the report on that. But before we call, for that report, let me thank you for coming on the show today.
It's a pleasure.
Always beautiful to have you, and of course we do love this, initiative of the K2U, our puzzles, and of course let's, hope it gets to, all the nooks and crannies of the country, because I know, just like you said, I believe every household should, lay their hands on it, especially for the younger ones there, so that I can help them, in all ramifications, because this is not just, game-wise or education-wise. It helps you, in almost all aspects of life.
You brought something in, for lack of time, equality. We work with SDG goals. So you summarize something without knowing. SDG 4, quality education, I think. SDG 10, fairness. SDG 4, 10, and 11. You just did it. Equality, sustainable communities. You just said it gently, and which is one of the things that is one of the many things that is driving us. Make it available, make it easily. Let it be for everyone if you can, and those that don't, quote and unquote, have their means to get them can also enjoy our outreaches.
Quite interesting.
Thank you
Mr.
very
Martin
much.
Soloye, many thanks for joining us on the show today.
Always a pleasure.
All right, I've been speaking with one of the founders of the K2U Puzzles, and of course we've been discussing everything you need to know about that beautiful innovation. But we're not done yet. Just like I said, and he just confirmed it, they were in Benue State, Makudi to be precise, recently, to take the gospel of K2U Puzzles to so many places, including the IDP camp there. We're stepping up the discussion, because I've got, the other half when it comes to, the founding, parents of K2U Puzzles. The co-founder is also in the studio here with me, Ewoma, Oloye. Many thanks for joining us on the show, madam.
Thank you very much for having me.
And of course, I'm very much impressed with what I just saw now, going to, IDP camp to take, because, many, when they are doing this type of project, what they put as number one is always about making profit. But we do know you cannot be going to that type of place and you say it's money that is number one. Instead, you're giving out, you're giving back to the society, which is really commendable. Thank you for all you do. So how was the experience in Makudi?
It was a range of emotions. Wow. A range of emotions. But I will go with the most positive one, which is excitement. We were all very excited. When we got there, the children didn't know what to expect. Wow. As you can imagine, none of them have ever seen a jigsaw puzzle before our arrival. And of course, as you would also know, there are some children, a lot of the children there have actually been born in those camps. So that is all they know. That's the life they know. They've never been to schools. There is no school in the camp. So of course, where will you see a jigsaw puzzle when you haven't even seen a school? So we explained to them what it was about. We had a lot of children. Wow. There were so many. There were so many. And immediately we explained to them what it was about. It was a wonder to see them begin to piece together these jigsaw puzzles. A few of them we had to explain, okay, this is what you need to do. You're not just putting the pieces together, the pieces have to make sense. It has to form the picture. And they just went at it. There was a young girl who finished her puzzle in less than 5 minutes. And then she was asked to flip it and do it. It was a double-sided jigsaw puzzle, and she flipped it and completed the other side really quickly. It was so interesting to watch. They were so excited. Even those that had not finished wouldn't leave it. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. We had representatives from the Nigerian Immigration Service. We had the Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs of the state. We had the Commissioner of Education. They just heard that something was going on at the camp, and then they came in. It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Because I'm just wondering, that tells you how, it's quite, easily understood when we were talking about, K2U Puzzles. Because for someone who has never tasted anything called education, and you're introducing that person to it for the first time, and the person picks it up as, as easy as it could be, although we know that it's not that easy. It looks like a stroll in the park. For the person, that tells you that the puzzle itself is not complicated, like some people will say, which is the beauty, because some might be scared for their kids, like, what if you give it to them and they don't even understand? But that's another thing about it.
On the contrary, I will flip it. It's not because the puzzles are not complicated. It showed us that there were children in that camp who are exceptional.
Yeah.
They are gifted. Their IQ is at an all-time high, and they do not have access to the tools that needs them to fly. That's what it means. It means that we have so many diamonds in the rough in places like that camp. That's what it means. Puzzles are complicated.
Quite complicated.
I can assure you, puzzles are complicated, but it was just a wonder to see the way they went into the puzzles and started fixing it. And you know what? They wouldn't leave.
I wanted to ask you that by the time you were leaving, did they allow you to go easily?
They wouldn't leave. They wouldn't leave. They were no longer interested in food. They were not interested in anything except those puzzles. We had a couple of the children come up, so we had some children sitting. And then before we could say anything, a lot of children that were sitting got up because they wanted to get their hands on it. They wanted to see, how is it done? Can we try? So we had them in bigger clusters than we initially planned. So they wouldn't go anywhere. And they kept at it. They kept at it. It was wonderful to observe.
Evidently, you were impressed with what you saw. So where do we go from here? Do you now plan to, step up something like that, maybe yearly or I wouldn't know, quarterly? Do you have plans to do something like that, maybe in other places or that particular place some other time soon?
Yes, we have. We are looking to do more of that.
Okay.
We are looking to partner with more people. In this instance, we partnered with the Nigerian Immigration Service. So we're looking to work with more people. We're currently partnering with a foundation, Robert's Charity Foundation, that is targeting education in young children. So we're looking to do more. We encountered some other agencies of the United Nations at that camp who were excited at it and, talked about the prospects of having it reach other, IDPs. So we're looking to do more, definitely. We're already setting up, different competitions to see how we can have more children partake and then have, that competition feel where it is, how quickly can you finish? And, children always look forward to competitions. So we're looking to have more of that as well across the country. So yes, we're looking to do more. We're looking to do more.
That's quite interesting. And maybe the next time you're on this show, we'd like to try ends on, the K2U Puzzles. We're going to have a practical session.
Oh, yes.
It's been interesting having you in the studio today, and of course, well done for all you do, especially for the young generation. I'm sure the experience will still be with, those kids at the IDP camp. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, I've been speaking with the co-founder of the K2U Puzzles, Ewoma Oloye, and of course, it's been an interesting session, especially talking about their latest, program, which was at the IDP camp down there in Makurdi, and of course, loads of success to bring out from that, and of course, we'll continue, to showcase and bring to the spotlight beautiful things like the K2U Puzzles. It's still Sports coming your way from NTA Sports 24. Let's go on this quick break, and of course, interesting things still coming up.